Dun, 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 dun.
All right, getting our little Friday dance going on here. It is the end of the work week. Welcome to KSAT News Now. Stephen Cavazos hanging out with us. You were with David Sears yesterday.
I
What
was
was
with
that experience
Yeah,
like?
it was a fun experience. You never know what David Sears is going to share, but always a good time, and glad to have you back here on this Friday morning.
Yeah, I had a little day off yesterday, so it was kind of nice to kind of get away. And then I immediately thought, like, well, why didn't I just take Friday off either also? But you know what? No, I'm glad I'm here.
But you've had a pretty busy week, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you for covering me for traffic. I had a nasty little sinus infection earlier this week, but feeling much better. But how was traffic?
It was good. You know, anytime I get to hang out with Mark, Mike, and Stephanie, always make me feel like home there. Always make me feel like part of the team. So, yeah, it was a couple of good mornings there doing traffic, and so yeah, my schedule's kind of been all over the place, but definitely glad to wrap up the work week.
Hey, good way to finish out having you here, RJ.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Well, we were talking about Good Fridays. Well, it has not been a great Friday or even a great 24 hours for several Twitter journalists who had their accounts suspended. We'll explain why and what Elon Musk is now doing about this.
Yeah, and San Antonio landmark about to get a major makeover. Those details straight ahead.
All right, plus a classic holiday musical is back by popular demand. When and where you could catch this performance here in the San Antonio area. I'll ask you later on if this is one of your favorite parts of the holidays.
See.
Yeah, we'll see here in just a bit. Yeah. Oh, and real quick, we want to get to some sort of developing, I guess, developing news this morning involving Brittney Griner.
Right.
Steven?
Yeah. She's speaking out for the first time since returning home, and we just received this statement, and in part it says, quote, "It feels so good to be home. The last 10 months have been a battle at every turn." Griner wrote, "I dug deep to keep my faith, and it was the love from so many of you that helped keep me going from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to everyone for your help."
All right, and Brittney Griner posted this on her Instagram account this morning and went on to thank her wife and President Biden, as well as the staff here at San Antonio Fort Sam Houston there. As remember, she arrived here after they did the prisoner exchange. So she arrived here and got treatment, got evaluated here, and I think also got to get in a little bit of, you know, some of her normal activities, playing basketball, kind of working out. So interesting to hear from Brittney Griner. We were talking a little bit earlier. We wonder when will be the first
interview that she's going to give.
Right?
I mean, I'm sure that's 10 months of your life away from everybody. And we talked about this last week when she came home. It was just in time for the holidays.
Yeah.
I mean, what a special occasion, but we know that it's obviously been a very difficult journey for her to make the trip back home. So obviously very happy to have her back.
Yeah, so good to hear from Brittney Griner and her family there, and we will continue to wait on word when the first, I guess, official interview will be given there. So moving on to some of our other top stories this morning, the latest in this horrible, horrible case out of North Texas, 7-year-old girl who was allegedly kidnapped and killed by a delivery driver. So the family of Athena Strand is now suing FedEx and one of its subcontractors.
That's right, RJ. The man suspected of killing Athena is Tanner Lynn Horner. He delivered packages for FedEx Ground, but was employed through a subcontractor, Big Topspin. Authorities arrested Horner on capital murder and aggravated kidnapping charges after he hit Athena with his vehicle while making a delivery to her home. That was back on November 30th.
All right, and Horner told investigators that he put Athena in his van, this is pretty shocking stuff here, and killed her because he was scared that she would tell someone that she was hit by a FedEx truck. I mean, just that's absolutely just horrible to think about that. The lawsuit here was filed by Athena's father and accuses FedEx and Big Topspin of gross negligence.
FedEx said in a statement the company's, quote, thoughts remain with the family of Athena Strand in the wake of this tragedy. We are aware of the complaint filed against FedEx Ground, end quote. Yeah, RJ, I think you said that, you know, summed it up. It just horrible details around this little girl's death, and you know, for her family, it's just they've been seeking solace in the community. We know that there was a vigil that was held just a few weeks ago after this horrible incident. So it still doesn't seem that there will be any resolution anytime soon, but they are seeking those answers, and just the details are pretty unsettling.
Yeah, and that's something that we were talking about with our producer Alyssa earlier. Just I mean, hit this young girl with their vehicle, and then what makes you think of, let me just put her in my truck and later kill? I mean, it's unbelievable. Very sad. Strand's apparently, I was reading this on CNN. So Strand's mother, Madeline Gandy, said that Horner here, the suspect, had just delivered her daughter's Christmas present, a box of Barbie dolls, before Strand disappeared from the driveway. So again, just very, very tough details coming out. Seemingly every week on this case.
Yeah, but it's something that everyone is still following, and of course we'll bring you the latest as those developments do become available. But we know there's obviously been big developments over at Twitter, of course. A number of journalists say their Twitter accounts have been suspended after they wrote about the social network's owner, Elon Musk. And last night, Musk actually accused journalists of sharing private information about his whereabouts, something he described as, quote, assassination coordinates.
Wow. Okay. So earlier this week, Elon Musk opted to permanently ban an account that automatically tracked the flights of his private jet using public data. It's something that a lot of media outlets have used in the past. So this eventually led to Twitter to change its rules about sharing another user's current location without their consent.
Yeah, several of the reporters whose accounts were suspended wrote about the policy change and Musk's decision for imposing it. And I know you had sent this story last night to our producer Alyssa and I, and I was reading a little bit more about it this morning. Twitter seems to be, a lot of people seem to be already leaving Twitter. I think because of all these changes that we've been seeing. So it's a little concerning to see that some of these accounts have been suspended.
Yeah, and it's something that obviously upset a lot of people last night when this was all developing, because remember, a big part of Elon taking over Twitter was he was very much about free speech and kind of giving people this platform back, and not censoring people, but we see this now taking place there. So apparently, as we said, these journalists, according to Twitter and Elon Musk, they violated the platform's new policy not to share location. Now, interesting here, because Elon Musk has apparently put out a poll for all of his followers, 121 million, asking whether he thinks these journalists should be reinstated. This is really weird. Obviously, people are voting. I mean, there's been 2.8 million votes. And he's even changed the question a few times: unsuspend accounts who dox my exact location in real time now or in 7 days. So it's 7 days is how long these journalists are going to be suspended.
So, and there's also been calls to have these accounts reinstated from executive producers and news directors. These are accounts from reporters of the New York Times, Washington Post. You have CNN, Voice of America, and you have publications that all went dark on Thursday.
Yeah.
So again, 7 days is the usual time, I understand, for a suspension on Twitter's. You're very active on Twitter.
I was, and I think that with all these changes, plus the subscription service as well, it's really, like you said earlier, kind of sort of pushed me away.
Yeah, a little
from being
daunting.
as active.
Yeah, to be a user.
I've always said to me that one of the biggest advantage of Twitter is that it's real time. That's usually when there's a big event going on.
Definitely.
Sports is a good platform for it because you get sort of the real time update status of different things. But other than that, I really try not to use it that much.
I agree in that sense.
Yeah.
When you have big events that take place, I use it primarily for traffic-related incidents,
there you go.
and that's very
Real time.
helpful because we have plenty of people that need to know what's happening, and it's that real time that does make a difference. So. You have to keep that Twitter account active for now.
We'll see if this any of this stuff gets cleaned up here. But moving on this morning to some other social media news. Videos promoting self-harm and eating disorders. Those are just some of the latest concerns over, of course, the very popular TikTok social media app. And a recent report highlights how TikTok's algorithms could have a negative impact on vulnerable teens.
Yeah, this was pretty concerning. That report was published after researchers at the Center for Countering Digital created TikTok accounts for fictional teen personas. So these are fake accounts that then liked videos about self-harm and eating disorders to determine how this would impact the app's algorithm.
All right, so according to the report, within minutes, videos about weight loss and self-harm were recommended to the users. Some of the images included models and idealized body types. There were also discussions of suicide there, which has been very much in the news.
Very alarming again, and the spokesperson for TikTok actually disputed that report and noted that the researchers didn't use the platforms like typical users. But sure, when you go onto like any Instagram, Facebook, I believe maybe one of them, when you like certain posts, you will start to see more of that generate in suggested posts or reels, whatever it may be. For me, it's a lot about cooking and
well,
recipes,
you're right. Everything is curated to your interest.
To your interests. So
that's scary just in general to begin with, because you're right. The stuff that you generally like or generally sort of engage with, that sort of floats to the top of your feed and a lot of these social media platforms. And we've seen a lot of news here with TikTok recently about some of their content. So this is obviously something that I think parents sort of need to kind of keep track of when it comes to maybe their teens or young adults using this app.
It's another polarizing application on phones, but I agree with you. I mean, with when you have access like that, these phones carry a lot of access to information that could be harmful for teens that may be in a vulnerable state, adults that may be in a vulnerable state. So obviously, it's when you see an algorithm that that builds on somebody who's going through a hard time, it creates a very dangerous situation. But again, that is just what these researchers did, just to understand how the app's algorithms work a little bit more. So, but TikTok says, hey, I mean, you guys aren't using it the way it's supposed to be used as well.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, there's a lot of people that do use TikTok for several different reasons, including, you're right, just different tips on maybe like DIY things and stuff like that.
I love the DIY stuff. How to screw in a light bulb. No, I YouTube that.
Very nice. All right, moving on here locally, this is pretty cool. So the iconic Tower Americas is about to get a major makeover. That's right, the San Antonio landmark is scheduled for an $11.7 million in repairs next year, and this would be one of the biggest facelifts in the tower's history.
Wow. Well, all right. It will include improvements to the stair guardrails in the main tower shaft, emergency lighting, and repairs to the outside of the tower shaft.
All right. City officials say that there was some exterior wear and tear to the main shaft. You kind of would figure that, but there are no cause for concerns for guests, and so it's going to stay open during all this is going on.
Yeah, work on the tower is expected to begin next May. The tower was built for the 1968 World's Fair and stands at 700 50 feet tall.
Always,
Wow.
that's a little bit of San Antonio trivia there.
Yeah, you know what,
How tall
but-
is the Tower of the Americas?
Not as tall as Justin Horn, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
No, Justin towers over the tower. So the city owns the Tower of the Americas.
Yep.
Another tidbit there, and for years there, Landry's has been the restaurant up at the top, the carousel, and at the bottom there's been a lot of different shops, the 4D Theater, Build-A-Bear.
When was the last time you guys were there? Has it been a minute?
I think I went earlier this year,
Oh, okay.
but I got a little bit of motion sickness. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah.
And the spinning,
See-
like it was mild. But
Okay.
I felt it.
Well, I'll answer the question real quick, and I'll make a quick comment. I went up there for a happy hour. Good happy hour.
Yes,
out
they have
there.
a
It's
great
out of
happy
Americas.
hour.
Okay, shout out the happy hour there.
What time is that?
And I remember I was there for it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And I remember I was there for the centennial celebration that we had.
stuff.
Yeah, that was nice because it was like
That was a good
10
place to
degrees
be.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been a while since I've gone, but yeah, great happy hour, and it's great views, like a panoramic view of the city, and so it's really cool to see, and a great place to take your friends that have not been there. I have a buddy from Austin who's really curious about it, and so I took him up there. It was a nice place to come, and it's a San Antonio staple.
There you go. And you talked about the spinning, Justin. I think Alyssa mentioned earlier that she would rather it spin even faster.
No,
I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
that would make me feel uneasy.
That doesn't feel right.
Alyssa,
Even right now, just thinking
you
about
said
it.
the tower should spin faster?
Yeah,
Okay, she confirmed.
like Spy Kids.
Ooh.
No,
Centripetal forces? No.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that. But we do need the weather.
that's true.
This is what the man is here
We
for.
do. There is a lot going around social media right now about this cold that's coming here for Christmas. Don't believe in the hype. It is going to get cold, but there's people posting all
believe
sorts
the
of
hype.
things. We'll get you set for your
got you.
forecast.
We
It is going
got
to be
you.
cold. And speaking of that, here's your trivia question.
Okay.
Which air mass is considered to be the coldest? We have different air masses when we're talking about meteorology. Is it A, continental polar? Is it maritime polar, continental Arctic, or maritime tropical? Which one is the coldest, guys?
Oh yeah, what sounds cooler, Arctic or polar? I don't know. Arctic sounds pretty intense, but polar also sounds pretty intense. I'm gonna go with A.
A, continental polar.
Okay. Air mass coldest, or considered to be the coldest. Let's go B, maritime. That's means sea,
Maritime.
right? Like the ocean winds.
RJ, come on. Oceans are always a little bit warmer, okay?
Oh man,
so you
that
should've
was
gone
my
with your
first
instinct, man.
choice.
Your first instinct, yeah, continental Arctic.
Well,
So when we're talking about an Arctic air mass, it features very cold and very little moisture. They originate in the Arctic Circle and can filter down into the U.S. during the winter. Every now and then, they can even come all the way down to Texas. Will we be seeing that next week? I think we'll at least see a taste of it. Arctic air mass will spill down into the United States, and we'll feel some of that colder air here. But that's a little play on the air masses.
oh, look at that.
Check out,
spin
you got to get
football.
the. I'm throwing it the wrong way.
Because I need to bring this up.
I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's get the forecast for the Duluth Trading Cure Bowl, which is going on in about, 3 hours?
Call that a-
2 o'clock.
A
Our
touchdown
Roadrunners
in Orlando.
will be dealing with mostly sunny skies, 68 degrees for kickoff. Should be a great game there, UTSA and Troy. Troy's got a great defense, UTSA's got a great offense. RJ's the expert on that, but it looks like it should be a great game. Weather's going to cooperate there in Orlando if you were curious. Right now, we've got blue skies, at least some blue skies out there. 60 degrees at the airport, dew point is at 49. Our KSAT 12-hour forecast. We are going to increase cloud cover as we get into the afternoon. Temperatures should make their way up into the mid-60s, but then fall tonight as the frontal boundary moves in. We could see a couple sprinkles overnight. This is not a big deal. The bigger story, I think, is going to be the gusty winds. You'll notice some winds out of the northeast, 10 to 15 miles per hour. We'll keep our fingers crossed that does not increase mountain cedar tomorrow. Please, no. But we are going to get some gusty winds, and the forecast does call for a few gusts up around 30 this evening. So if you're going to be out and about, no, it is going to be somewhat blustery. Weekend forecast, you're making plans, going shopping. Cloudy tomorrow morning, then we should see some clearing Saturday afternoon. Clouds will return on Sunday, 55, and it stays cool most of the weekend. Very quickly, I was talking about some of that hype with what we're seeing on social media, this next push of cold air. Here's some just bottom line facts. We're expecting our first push of cold air Thursday, the 22nd, next week. What can you expect? Freeze likely. Precip chances are very low. But we want to warn you about the potential for a freeze. We feel fairly confident on this because if you're heading out of town, you want to make the preparations now, wrapping some of those outdoor spigots and maybe some plants and things like that. How long? Several days. We think the cold's going to last through Christmas. And, you know, we're still trying to refine the forecast a little bit more, but that's kind of the bottom line when it comes to this cold air mass that we're looking for next week. But there's plenty going on social media. Don't believe everything you read. Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you. You guys were just talking about that.
Yeah.
56 Saturday, 55 Sunday, and you see the 50s next week. The big cold air mass looks to arrive on Thursday. And by the way, winter officially begins Wednesday, 3:48 p.m.
Oh,
So,
okay.
hey, have that KSAT weather app handy.
It's the best thing you can do. We update that often, and we'll be updating the travel forecast too if you're going to be traveling. Next week's a big travel week. So
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
think-
Don't believe the hype. Just
Don't believe the hype.
one and only right here.
Hey, it is
The
what it is. and
KSAT weather
it's-
team.
It is what it is, and it's not what it's not.
it's not what it's
It's not what it's not. According to Justin Horn. Thank
Yeah.
you.
opportunity
All
to
right.
use that.
Yeah, it was. It was
We got,
great.
yeah, that was good.
That was Justin. Well, that's Justin. He says it,
It
all
is
the
what
time.
it is, and it's not what it's
It's not
not.
what it's not. Yeah,
my
just
God,
words
wow.
of wisdom from Justin Horn. Hey, thank
And that's
you.
will send us off on a Friday. All right, so we're talking about some fun stuff to do this weekend now. And if you're looking for a fun indoor holiday outing, make sure to check out A Christmas Carol at the Public Theater of San Antonio.
That's exciting. I loved this play. I loved the movie. Cried in it. In fourth grade. I'm just
Okay.
sharing some information there. All right, this weekend is your last chance to catch it. So they have a promo code actually available. Enter quote last chance 10 and check out for $10 off. That's not bad.
Cool, very nice. Yeah, so this is a beautifully done take on the classic Christmas story about Ebenezer Scrooge and the three ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, but this is like that's one of these, one of those holiday plays and spectacles that people love to see every year. I love the Muppet version as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
I'm
going
glad
to
you
throw
brought
that
up
out
those
there.
older- okay.
Those older ones.
Yeah.
Fun times, honestly,
Yeah.
really. I mean, and I think this is a great chance to see some local talent as well, or just a great chance to spend time with your family indoors.
You know, you mentioned something, the Muppets one, but I have a weird admission to make. The Disney one, the one where Scrooge McDuck played Ebenezer Scrooge. I guess that's where he
yeah,
came
that
out.
one.
And Mickey
yeah,
Mouse.
that's a good one.
And Mickey
Our
Mouse,
producer Alyssa totally felt that. Yeah.
Which one's that one?
It's probably.
Yeah, Mickey's Christmas. All
Wait,
right,
so Donald
yeah.
Duck's in it? Is Donald Duck in it?
Well, is he one of the ghosts or? No, Scrooge McDuck is Scrooge.
Do you know how to do a Donald Duck? All right.
Okay, so growing up, that movie kind of freaked me out. Not gonna lie.
No.
It was a cartoon.
Yeah,
With the ghost and the weird, it's actually really, really interesting.
it gets
story.
me. It's an emotional movie
Tiny
for me. I don't
Tim?
know why. It's just Tiny Tim.
There we go, Tiny Tim. Bob, what was his name? Bob Cratchit, I think was the guy's name, right?
Yeah, sure. I haven't seen it in a while.
So
but-
make sure to check it out at the Public Theater of San Antonio. Yeah, so it's a bit good stuff there. You know what? Real quick, Justin had just mentioned this.
Yeah.
UTSA is in Florida right now, so they're not dealing with any other weather right now. They play at 2 o'clock today, looking for their first ever bowl win. UIW is in the Final Four
Yeah.
for their playoffs, and then we also have Bernie and Wimberley playing today in state championship games.
A lot of
Let's go.
local teams. All right, let's go and show the sport from afar.
Here we go. Yeah,
Positive
definitely.
energy out there.
Definitely. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun Friday, and hopefully, you know what, the Roadrunners, UIW, the Cardinals, our local colleges have had great seasons so far. So
And it had
shout out to them.
big send-offs as well.
They did.
The
Very nice
community out
send-offs.
coming out for Bernie. I saw that a little bit earlier. in the week,
Basically,
which is
Bernie just shut down today. Like, they
Yeah.
had no school, and I think like half of the
Really-
town is just like in Dallas right now.
Yeah,
in Arlington. Yeah.
really cute. My family up in Bernie, my nephew's elementary school, they got a chance to make signs for the team
Oh,
as they went
nice.
off. So all the kiddos were out there just showing
Yeah.
up their support for the team. So love to see that.
All right, let's go Greyhounds. Bring home that state title.
Yeah.
All right, and Steven, whew,
Yeah.
it's been a good week.
It was good. I gotta go watch-
You did get a sign, but I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I love it. You know, I'm gonna go see Avatar 2 today, so I'm gonna have to jet here in a
nice.
little bit. But it was
Okay,
great hanging
very
out
cool.
with you.
Yeah, maybe you could give us a review on
I will.
Steven's Monday reviews.
Oh yeah, I
This will
love
be a
that.
thing.
Makes it time for me.
Yeah, all right, guys. Well, thank you very much for being with us. Make sure to also follow us on our podcast as well. We also do a daily podcast that super producer Alyssa puts up as well. So make sure to check that out. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will see you back here Monday at 11 a.m.